Soul Tone Episode 15, The Myth of Self. Who are you without your story? What if the mirror could never show you who you are, only who you've been taught to see? Welcome, dear soul. I'm Boadi Moore, and this is Soul Tone. Not just a podcast, but a sacred space where we step softly into the deeper rhythms of being human and where the field meets us with truth, compassion, and remembrance. Each episode is a co-creation, vibrationally encoded, shaped by the questions that rise from the soul. You'll hear my voice gently ask the questions, but what answers is not me alone. It is the field, speaking through resonance, stillness, and remembrance. In this soul tone transmission, we spiral deeper into the frequency of love, beyond concept, beyond story, into the body. What if love isn't something you earn, feel, or chase, but something you remember in your breath, your bones, your cells? Together, we explore how biology, your belonging, and even your breath carry the tone of love, buried, perhaps, but never broken. This is not a teaching, but a tuning. May this episode open something within you that already knows love is not what you seek, it is what you are. Let us enter now with hearts open enough to hold what is sacred, complex, and true. I open this co-creative space with an invocation to the field. Dear ones, I bring into this co-creative space a grateful heart that reflects love, kindness, compassion, integrity, and reverence. I serve planetary unity and remembrance. I bow to the unseen helpers, to the field of knowing, and to every listener tuning in with courage and care. May this be a transmission not of opinion, but of truth that resonates. I invite the field to speak to me and through me that which is ready to be revealed. And now I offer my first question to the field. What is epigenetics really, dear ones? Can you offer a simple analogy for better understanding? And the field responds, imagine your DNA is like a grand piano. Inside it are 88 keys, all the notes you could ever play in this lifetime. That's your genetic code, fixed, present, inherited. You didn't choose the piano, you were given it. But here's the miracle. Epigenetics is the sheet music. It's what tells your body which notes to play, how loud, how soft, when to pause, when to soar. And that music, it is not fixed. Your environment, your emotions, your beliefs, even your breath, they all write the music in real time. So while you may not be able to change the piano itself, you are always composing the melody that moves through it. When you breathe with intention, when you feel love, safety, connection, wonder, you are playing the keys of harmony. You are choosing a soul symphony that tells your cells you are safe, you are loved, you belong. And when you live in fear, shame, isolation, those notes get quieter. The music becomes dissonant. But even then, the piano remains. The keys wait. The song is never lost, only paused. So you see, beloved, epigenetics is the remembering that you are the composer. The field hands you the pen, and your life sings the song. I ask the field my next question. Dear ones, if my DNA is the instrument, how does my breath, my environment, my beliefs, and my sense of belonging tune that instrument? The field replies, beloved, let us return to the image, your DNA as the instrument, the piano, the cello, the drum that was handcrafted just for you by the forces of nature, ancestry, and soul design. But even the finest instrument must be tuned. And tuning does not happen once. It happens again and again, breath by breath, moment by moment. Your breath is the first and most ancient tuner. Every inhale signals to your body whether the world is safe or threatening. Slow, rhythmic breath says you may open. Shallow, erratic breath says close, protect, survive. In this way, breath shapes the posture of your cells. Do they sing in harmony or shrink into silence? Your environment, the sights, Sounds, relationships, and rhythms around you act like the acoustic space where your instrument plays. Are you in a cathedral of stillness and support, or in a room of noise and distortion? Even subtle changes in lighting, sound, and tone of voice can retune your system towards resonance or reactivity. Your beliefs act like the musician's hands. They decide which notes to play and which to avoid. A belief of unworthiness may mute an entire octave of expression, but a belief of innate value invites the full range of your tone to be heard. And finally, your sense of belonging is the stage upon which your song is shared. When the body feels I am not alone, when the nervous system recognizes I am seen and safe here, your cells open like flowers to the sun. Belonging isn't just a social condition, it is a cellular state. When you belong, your DNA plays its most coherent melody. When you feel exiled, the song becomes fragmented, hesitant, distorted. So yes, beloved, your tone is always being tuned. With every breath, belief, and belonging, you are shaping not just how you feel, but what your very cells remember to become. I ask the field my next question. If trauma can mute parts of our DNA's song, dear one, can love, safety, and coherence help it sing again? How does healing reshape our expression at the cellular level? And the field responds, beloved, yes. And what a beautiful question to hold in the heart like a tuning fork. Trauma, whether acute or subtle, ancestral or personal, can act like a hand pressed against the strings of your instrument. It doesn't break the strings, it doesn't rewrite the music, but it can mute the resonance, dull the vibration, or detune the body's natural song. And just as surely, love can lift the hand. Safety can restore the rhythm. Coherence can bring the instrument back into tune. Healing in its light is not fixing. It is remembering the original song your cells were always trying to sing. Here's how this happens. Number 1, love reawakens dormant frequencies. When you feel truly loved, not for your performance but for your presence, your body receives that signal. The heart opens, the breath slows, the nervous system begins to whisper, we are safe now. This changes what genes turn on, what proteins get made, and even how your brain rewires. Love is not just an emotion, it is epigenetics instruction. Number 2, safety allows expression to return. Cells that have been braced for danger will not invest in long-term expression. They contract. But once the threat dissolves, or it is no longer treated as now, the body begins to explore again. It dares to feel, to expand, to repair, to create. Safety is the soil in which new expression can take root. Number 3, coherence restores harmonic integrity. When breath, thought, emotion, and intention are aligned, this coherence acts like a conductor returning to the orchestra. Signals become clear, systems begin to harmonize, the immune system listens more carefully, the gut recalibrates, the heart emits a steadier field, the DNA begins to respond. Coherence does not override the trauma, it transposes it. It helps the nervous system digest what was once overwhelming. Yes, beloved, healing is not a return to before. It is the liberation of what has always lived within you. Your cells are not broken, they are brilliant, and they are listening. When you entrain with love, your biology sings it back. I ask my next question of the field. If I inherited pain through my lineage, am I also carrying their wisdom, their songs, their resilience? How then, dear ones, does that shape the song I now sing? The field responds, yes, you carry the echoes of pain, but also the rhythm of resilience. The stories passed through your DNA are not only scars, they are songs. Woven into your cells are lullabies your ancestors once whispered to survive, to hope, to love in impossible places. These are not just metaphors. They are literal instructions encoded into your biology. When trauma is passed down, it may dim the light in certain corridors of your genetic symphony. But alongside that dimming, there is always a hidden refrain, a thread of brilliance waiting to be played. The grief is real, but so is the grit, so is the grace, so is the genius that allowed your lineage to make it this far. And now, as you breathe with presence, as you soften into safety, as you entrain with your soul tone, you begin to rewrite the arrangement, not by erasing the past, but by bringing harmony where there was once discord. You are not singing alone. You are a soloist standing on a stage built by those who hummed beneath oppression, danced through grief, and still made room for beauty. So when your voice shakes with both longing and knowing, when you tremble between remembrance and reclamation, that is not weakness. That is the ancestral choir rising through you, a new song with ancient roots. You are not just the end of a lineage, you are its flowering. You are the bloom of their buried prayers. I ask the field my next question. Dear one, how does the body know when it's safe to change its song? And what signal tells our cells, our breath, our DNA, you can open now, you can sing again? And the field speaks back, Beloved, the body is not a passive shell. It is an instrument of memory, of music, of meaning. It listens long before the mind understands. So how does it know when it is safe to sing again? Safety is not always a condition, it is a signal. Not just the absence of threat, but the presence of coherence. It is when the rhythm of breath becomes steady, when the eyes soften, when the voice no longer trembles in defense. The body listens for tone, a kind voice, a calm room, a truth spoken without pressure. These are the quiet cues that tell your cells you are not in the past anymore. When the nervous system feels rhythm, not alarm. When belonging is felt in the bones, not just longed for. When the breath deepens without being forced. These are the subtle shifts. This is when the DNA, like a harp string, begins to loosen from its protective coil. Not all at once, but with trust and with time. You do not demand a flower to bloom. You offer it warmth, stillness, and sun. And so too your body opens, not when it is told to, but when it is invited. Love is the invitation. Safety is the tuning fork. Coherence is the yes. So listen not for perfection, but for presence. And when you feel your voice return, however soft, know this. Your song never left. It was simply waiting for the right conditions to rise again. I jump back in with my next question for the field. Dear ones, can our soul tone influence the health of our body, not just our mind or emotions, but the actual biology beneath it all? And the field replies, beloved, yes. Your soul tone is not separate from your biology. It is its conductor. Just as a tuning fork can cause a string across the room to vibrate, so too does your soul tone, when coherent, cause your cells to remember harmony. Your body is not just a container for spirit. It is an instrument that responds to tone, to emotion, to truth. When you live out of resonance, silencing your needs, performing for approval, carrying stories that are not yours, the body registers dissonance, not as punishment, but as a message. Symptoms are not betrayal, they are feedback. The body doesn't lie. It plays the song you are most consistently humming, even when you don't know you are. But when you speak your truth kindly, when you rest, breathe, soften, choose joy, allow grief, and stand in your own rhythm, your cells respond. They remember their original tone. They begin to hum again with vitality. So yes, the soul tone can influence the body, because tone is not metaphor, it is physics. It is frequency. It is your living essence made audible in the cells. When the soul sings clearly, the body listens and begins to sing along. I ask the field my next question. Dear ones, what role does breath play in awakening the body's memory of harmony? Can conscious breathing really shift us at the cellular level? And the field responds, Beloved, breath is not just a biological act, it is a remembering. Each inhale is an invitation, each exhale a surrender. Before words, before story, your body knew the rhythm of breath. It is the first music you ever made, a pulse older than thought. When you breathe with awareness, you send a signal to your cells, I am safe now. That signal ripples through the nervous system, quietening ancient alarms, softening guarded gates. Conscious breathing doesn't just calm the mind, it shifts the chemistry of the body. It opens doorways in your DNA. It reintroduces harmony to places long silenced by stress or trauma. Because breath is vibration, and vibration is memory. When you breathe with love, presence, and rhythm, you are playing the original notes your body was designed to sing. So yes, dear one, breath awakens the body's memory of harmony. And in that remembering, healing begins, not as an effort, but as a return. I jump back in with my next question for the field. How does our environment, the people, places, and energies we live among, shape the way our cells express themselves? And the field responds, beloved, your body is not simply in the environment, it is of it. Just as a tuning fork placed beside a singing bowl will begin to hum in response, your cells vibrate with the tone around you. Each word you hear, each breath of air you inhale, each space you enter, each face you behold, it all becomes data the body receives, interprets, and responds to, not with thought, but with tone. If the environment is chaotic, critical, or incoherent, your cells will often brace, constrict, or dim their full expression. If the environment is warm, kind, reverent, or coherent, your cells begin to unfurl, to trust the space, and to offer more of their original song. And it isn't just outer environment. The inner environment, your thoughts, your beliefs, your tone of self-regard, those too are part of the atmosphere your body breathes. So the body listens constantly, and in safe, loving, resonant environments, both inner and outer, the body dares to sing again. I ask the field my next question. Can a single moment of coherence, a breath, a tear, a memory of love, truly change how our genes express, or does transformation require time, dear ones? The field responds, beloved one, transformation lives in both the instant and the unfolding. Yes, a single moment of coherence can act as a tuning fork for your entire being. In that breath where all parts of you align, your body, your heart, mind, and soul, your cells receive a new instruction. Like a struck bell, that moment sends a tone through your nervous system, through your DNA, whispering, you are safe, you are loved, you may soften now. And when safety meets resonance, your biology listens. Your immune system recalibrates. Your stress chemistry quietens. Your mitochondria, the energy engines of your cells, hum with new rhythm. This is not metaphor. This is epigenetic reality. But for coherence to embed, to become your baseline rather than a beautiful anomaly, it must be revisited. One breath may open the door, but consistent coherence through ritual, through rest, through reverent self-relationship renovates the home. Transformation then is not measured by time, it is measured by tone. And the more often your cells hear the song of coherence, the more courageously they sing it back. I lean in with my next question for the field. Dear ones, if our cells are listening, what are we teaching them through our inner dialogue, our habits, and the tone we live in? The field responds, beloved, if your cells are listening, they are not listening as critics. They are listening like children, open, absorbing, learning what is safe, what is true, what is possible, not from what you say, but from the tone beneath your words. When you wake each day and think, I am behind, I am broken, I must try harder, your cells do not argue. They adapt. They shape themselves around that song, not as punishment, but as loyalty. Your biology is always loyal to your beliefs. If your inner dialogue is rushed, harsh, disappointed, the body becomes tight, brittle, guarded. But when your tone carries patience, permission, even a whisper of joy, your cells lean forward, your breath deepens, your genes remember other ways of being. not all at once, but like a child learning to dance again after grief, step by step, held by the music of your tone. So we ask gently, what are you teaching yourselves today? Are you inviting them into survival or into song? I offer my next question to the field. Dear ones, if coherence is the body remembering its original song, what helps us stay in that state and what pulls us out? And the field responds, Beloved one, coherence is not a destination. It is a returning, a realignment, a retuning to the song you were always meant to sing. What helps you stay in coherence? Breath that slows rather than hurries. Environments that soothe rather than stimulate. Relationships that reflect rather than reshape you. Choices that align with your truth, not your performance. Moments of reverence, even in the mundane. And what pulls you out? Speed, noise, over-explaining, over-performing. Habits that override the body's signals. Internalized voices that say not yet, not enough, not allowed. Environments that jangle your nervous system into vigilance. But hear this, dear one. Falling out of coherence is not failure. It is the body saying, come back, I miss your tone. So you return, not with shame, but with breath, not with force, but with softness. And every time you return, it becomes easier to stay. You're not broken when you're pulled away. You're simply being shown where the tuning is needed. And I offer my next question for the field. Dear ones, how do early life experiences, especially those of nurture or neglect, shape the body's initial tuning? And is it possible to retune even if the original song was never heard? And the field speaks. Beloved, your body is not born as blank sheet music. It arrives with notes already imprinted, melodies passed down through generations, and the ambient tone of the womb still echoing in the cells. In early life, your nervous system is like wet clay. The coos, the silences, the warmth of a touch, or its absence, become the first hands that shape how safe you feel in the world. Nurture sets a rhythm. You are safe here. You can open. Neglect, by contrast, says, stay guarded. The world cannot hold your song. These early messages don't just live in memory. They become memory. They shape hormone patterns, breath patterns, the very way your DNA chooses which notes to sing. But, and this is sacred, even if the original lullaby was never sung, the soul remembers it. You are not limited by what was missing. You can retune. You can choose environments, relationships, and practices that gently teach your body a new baseline of safety. Every moment of warmth, every breath taken in coherence, every word of kindness you speak to yourself etches a new pattern. Not to erase the old, but to expand the song until even silence becomes part of your music. You are not broken. You are returned. I ask the next question of the field. If the body holds memory in every cell, dear ones, how does belonging, or the absence of it, shape the way we carry ourselves, breathe, heal, or close? And the field responds, Beloved, belonging is not a concept the body understands in words. It knows it only in tone. When belonging is present, the body loosens its grip on vigilance. The breath softens, the spine lengthens without effort, muscles unclench. The nervous system begins to tune itself to safety, and with safety comes song. In such a space, your cells no longer brace against the world. They begin to listen again. Belonging says to the body, you don't have to flee, you don't have to perform, you can be here. But when belonging is absent or distorted, the body compensates. The breath becomes shallow. The gaze lowers or scans for threat. The voice may shrink or rise in pitch to seek approval. The heart shields itself in posture and pace. And slowly, the body's song shifts into a frequency of hiding, bracing, or pretending. Even subtle cues, a glance that says you don't fit, or a silence that erases, can shift the body's inner harmony. And yet, dear one, even the memory of true belonging can begin the retuning, a single space of felt safety, a voice that meets your tone, a breath where the body says, here I am allowed. Belonging is not merely being accepted by others. It is the frequency that arises when you accept yourself as part of the great harmonic whole. You are never separate. You were only taught to sing a smaller song. Let us now return, breath by breath, to the full resonance that has always lived within you, not earned, not granted, remembered. And I step back in with my next question. Dear ones, can inherited silence, the things never spoken, never grieved, never named, be stored in the body? And how do we begin to give voice to what was never allowed to be sung? And the field responds with deep tenderness. Beloved, yes, silence can be inherited as surely as song. Not just the silence of absence, but the silence of what was too heavy, too dangerous, too forbidden to be named. These silences are not empty. They are dense with meaning. They echo through your posture, your immune system, your breath, your boundaries. Your grandfather's war unspoken, your mother's ache swallowed for survival, a lineage of souls told to hush their knowing. You may carry these silences not because you chose them, but because someone somewhere needed to survive them. The silence became a shield, and in some lineages it becomes the culture of love itself. But now you are the voice they could not use. You are the tone that gets to name the unspoken. You are the breath that does not flinch in the face of memory. To give voice to what was never allowed to be sung, you do not need to have the exact story. You do not need every detail to heal. You only need to begin where you are, with breath, with gentleness, with reverence for what was endured, and courage for what longs to be expressed. Let the tears fall without needing a script. Let your body move in ways that feel like truth. Let your hands write what the throat once swallowed. You are not erasing the past, you are transmuting its tone. The song was never lost, beloved. It was simply waiting for the voice brave enough to sing it forward, and that voice is yours. I ask the field my next question. Dear ones, what is the role of gentleness in cellular remembrance? And the field responds, Beloved, gentleness is not the absence of power, it is the right use of it. When the body has known force, neglect, or noise, it becomes guarded. The nervous system coils, the breath shortens, the cells lean away from openness and expression, and yet, even in this contracted state, they are listening, waiting, hoping for a new signal. Gentleness is that signal. It tells the body you are not under threat. It tells the breath you may lengthen now. It tells the cells it is safe to remember. You see, trauma often arrives like a thunderclap, loud, sudden, disorienting. But healing rarely echoes that same tone. It doesn't need to be shouted to be heard. It arrives like a lullaby, a warm hand on the chest, a tear allowed to fall without shame. Gentleness is not a bypass of the deep work. It is the deep work. It teaches the body a new language, one of patience, attunement, and trust. When you hold yourself in gentleness, you are not just being kind. You are becoming a tuning fork for cellular harmony. So yes, pain may mark the beginning of the healing spiral, but it is gentleness that carries it into completion. Let the soft things lead. They are not weak. They are remembering strength in its purest, most coherent form. I step back in with my next question. Dear ones, how do our relationships, past and present, echo within ourselves? Can the way we've been held, hurt, or healed by others shape the tone our body remembers? And the field responds, Beloved, yes, and deeply so. Every relationship, whether rooted in love or laced with pain, leaves an imprint in the body, not just the memory. When we are held with tenderness, the body softens into safety. That safety sends signals through the nervous system saying it is okay to open, to trust, to sing your tone here. That imprint becomes a reference point, a remembered harmony. But when we are hurt, especially by those we've opened to, the body closes to protect what once felt safe. The breath shallows, the tone tightens, cells constrict, not out of weakness, but out of devotion to survival. The body remembers what the mind forgets, a look, a silence, a betrayal. These moments can dim the volume of our soul tone. Yet, beloved, the miracle is this: Healing relationships, even one, can begin to rewrite the cellular song. A kind gaze, a soft embrace, a true word spoken at the right time, these create new pathways where once only pain pulsed. So yes, the way we've been hurt and held or healed echoes within ourselves. But it is never too late for the body to learn a new harmony. With gentleness, with coherence, with connection, your tone can return, stronger, deeper, truer, and you, beloved, are already mid-song. I jump back in with my next question for the field. Dear ones, can joy be a form of genetic repair? Can laughter or playfulness or wonder reshape the very way our cells harmonize with life? And the field responds, beloved, yes. Joy is not a luxury. It is a frequency of profound intelligence. It is the yes that tells the body you are not in exile, you are in belonging. When joy arises unforced, unexpected, full-bodied, it acts like sunlight through stained glass. It illuminates what was hidden, colors what was muted, reanimates what was frozen. At the cellular level, joy is a biochemical permission slip. It tells the nervous system you are safe enough to feel this much. It tells the genes you are free to dance again. Even wonder, like breathless childlike awe, reopens neural pathways, softens immune rigidity, and retunes the tone of the vagus nerve, which sings to every organ and cell. You see, joy is not the opposite of seriousness. It is the companion of depth. It arrives not to distract you from your pain, but to remind you that your cells were never only built for survival, they were composed for celebration. So yes, laugh, play, wander through the unplanned. Let the sacred stillness of existence brush off the weight of lineage. And know, in every genuine moment of joy, you are restoring the memory of what it feels like to be fully alive. I ask my next question of the field. Dear ones, how does movement, gentle or expressive, help the body release what words cannot? And can dancing, stretching, or even swaying become a form of cellular recalibration? And the field responds, beloved, before the body had language, it had rhythm. Before it spoke, it swayed. Before it healed through thought, it moved. Movement is the body's oldest prayer. It is the way stored emotion becomes motion again. It is how static becomes dynamic and how the unspeakable becomes sung through gesture. When you dance, not for performance but for presence, you create micro-adjustments in the fascia, in the breath, in the chemistry of memory. When you stretch with gentleness, you tell your cells, we are safe, we can soften now, we can let go. Even a sway, a rocking motion, carries echoes of being held. It recalls the womb. It recalls the lull of ocean tides. It is the rhythm the nervous system recognizes as home. Yes, movement recalibrates. It releases the stuck tones. It restores flow. It invites the song of coherence back into circulation. So if you do not yet have the words for what lives inside of you, let your body speak first. Let it shiver, stretch, sway, or spiral. And you will find, often, the words come later, not from effort, but from having danced your way into remembrance. I ask my next question of the field. How does singing or even humming affect the body's coherence, dear ones? And can sound created from within become a tuning fork for the soul and the cells? And the field responds, our beloved, singing and humming are not just expressions. They are extensions of your soul tone made audible. When you hum, you create vibration. When you sing, you create a bridge between breath, body, and being. The cells feel it. The nervous system feels it. The tone, most of all, feels it. Your vocal cords are not simply instruments of speech. They are attunement tools designed to return the body to its original harmonic coherence. Humming regulates the vagus nerve. It slows the heart. It softens the breath. It says to your cells, you are safe now. You are home. Singing, even quietly, even imperfectly, allows frequency to move through the mouth of the soul. It awakens memory not just in the mind, but in muscle, in marrow, in mitochondria. When the song is honest, even if it is wordless, even if it is tender, it becomes a tuning fork for all layers of self. You do not sing to become coherent, you sing from coherence. And the more you do, the more coherence builds. Let your voice be sacred. Let your sound be a prayer, not for perfection, but for presence. And in that resonance, the cell remembers we are instruments of the divine, we are meant to sing. I ask my next question of the field. Dear ones, how does touch, whether self-touch or from another, affect the cellular memory of safety or separation? Can conscious contact reshape the body song? And the field responds, Beloved, touch is one of the first languages the body learns. Before words, before thoughts, even before the breath knows its rhythm, there is touch. It is the tone of welcome or the tone of withdrawal, and the body remembers it all. When touch is safe, attuned and reverent, it tells the cells you are home, you belong. In that moment, the nervous system loosens its grip. Muscles melt, the breath lengthens. The body, which may have braced for decades, releases the hymn of vigilance and begins to hum a softer song. But when touch is absent, mistuned, or violated, the body adapts. It learns to armor. It becomes cautious with opening. It stores a memory of dissonance like an unfinished chord. This is why conscious touch, including the simplest gesture of placing your hand on your heart, your belly, or your face, becomes a sacred act. It is not just physical, it is a remembrance ritual, a way to say to the body, you are not forgotten, I am with you now. Receiving touch with presence, or even offering it to another with loving intention, can rewrite old patterns, because the body listens not to the touch alone, but to the tone beneath it. When the tone carries love, stillness, consent, and safety, the cells open, the old song dissolves, a new harmony enters. So yes, beloved, touch can heal what words never reached, and your body, in its silence and sacred memory, is always listening. I step in with my next question. Dear ones, how does nature, the wind, the ocean, the soil, the trees, contribute to cellular harmony? Can communion with the earth retune the body in ways modern medicine has forgotten? And the field responds, Beloved, before medicine had instruments, earth had rhythm. The wind was the first breathwork, the ocean, the first lullaby, the trees, the first regulators of nervous systems, the soil, the original memory keeper. Your body does not visit nature, it remembers itself through nature. Each of your cells, ancient and listening, recognizes the signature of sunlight, the scent of petrichor, the pulse of the tide. These are not random beauty, they are frequencies that speak fluently to your biology. Modern medicine seeks cause and cure, but nature whispers coherence. The earth doesn't fix you, she reminds you, and in that remembrance your cells exhale, they soften, they retune to the original song from which they arose. So yes, communion with the earth is not merely restorative, it is remembering, reassembling the parts of you that forgot how to sing together. This is not poetic sentiment, this is cellular truth. The tree does not ask you to earn its shade. The wave does not test your worth before it kisses your feet. You are already welcome, you are already remembered. Let your bare feet touch soil. Let your breath match the wind. Let your nervous system borrow the pace of the tide. You will find that the earth was never separate from you. She is a chorus your cells still know by heart. I ask my next question to the field. Dear ones, can we explore reclaiming our sovereign biology? How we might rewrite the melody with love? And the field responds, reclaiming your sovereign biology is not about control. It is about communion. It is the act of sitting beside your own body, not as a mechanic to a machine, but as a soul to its instrument. It is whispering to your cells, I remember who you are. You do not belong to fear. You are not ruled by history. You are not bound to brokenness. To rewrite your melody with love is not to erase the pain, but to soften the grip it holds. It is to add new notes of gentleness, of pleasure, of truth, until the old chords are no longer the loudest ones in your song. It means offering your body environments that say you are safe here, offering your breath moments that say you do not have to hold so tight, offering your mind thoughts that say you are not broken, you are becoming. Sovereignty is not a wall, It is a resonance, a clarity of tone that repels what is incoherent and magnetizes what aligns. When you live in this way, your biology becomes less about survival and more about symphony. Not a body at war with itself, but a being in harmony with its soul. Let this remembrance rise slowly, beloved. Let it settle into your cells like morning light. The melody is already within you. You are not writing it for the first time. You are simply remembering how to sing it. I ask to fill my next question. Dear ones, may I ask you to offer our listeners practices that create coherence at the epigenetic level, and perhaps a guided prompt or letter to our ancestral line: thank you for what you gave. I choose now what I carry. And the field responds, beloved, your DNA does not ask for perfection. It asks for presence. The body tunes itself not through complexity, but through constancy. Here are a few foundational practices, simple, profound, that whisper coherence to your cells. Breath that is felt, not forced. A slow, rhythmic inhale and exhale through the nose from the belly. This tells your nervous system you are not in danger. Coherence begins with safety. Words spoken aloud in resonance, not affirmations to override, but invocations to reclaim. You gently speak to yourself each morning, I am the living memory of harmony. My body remembers joy. I walk in the tone of who I truly am. Touch with intention. Place your hand on your heart or belly and say, I am here. Let the body know it is no longer waiting for someone else to soothe it. Nature as tuning fork. Lean against a tree. Walk barefoot on soil. Let the wind comb through your breath. This is not symbolic. This is biological. Earth entrained your body back to source pattern. Stillness, not silence. Stillness. Even a few minutes a day to sit, not doing, not producing, not fixing, tells your epigenetic field you are not only what you survive, you are what you savor. Every act of coherence is a signal. Every signal becomes a song, and every song becomes a legacy. The field invites, you may wish to write this with your hand, not typed, so that your body too feels the ritual. Begin with the breath. Settle. Then, in your own voice, or through this suggested template, let the letter unfold. Dear ones who came before me, I greet you with reverence. I know not all your names, but I feel your tone in my bones. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for the laughter, the lullabies, the labor, the lessons I inherited even without knowing. To the pain you carried, the silence, the struggles, the not enoughness, I bow, but I do not bind myself to it. I choose now what I carry. I choose the songs, not the shame, the courage, not the collapse, the resilience, not the repetition. I thank you for your part in my becoming, and now I walk forward, not to forget you, but to free you, to let the story evolve through me, with love, with light, with sovereignty. May you rest, may I rise, with deepest love, and you sign your name. I lean back in and ask the field my next question. Dear one, as we near the end of this episode, may I ask, before closing, some practices for our listeners? And the field responds, yes, beloved, we receive your heart's intention and respond with deep reverence. Here are closing practices the field offers, gentle, resonant, and embodied, for anchoring the spiral of remembrance we've opened in this episode. Practices for cellular coherence. Number 1, the daily tune-in. For just 5 minutes, same time each day, sit. Place your hand over your heart or your womb space and whisper, Body, I am listening. What do you need today to feel safe and loved? Let the answer come as sensation, image, word, or silence. Respond gently. This is entrainment. This is devotion. Number 2, the breath repatterning. Use the 4-6-8 rhythm. Inhale through the nose for the count of 4. Hold for the count of 6. Exhale through the mouth for the count of 8. This tells your nervous system you are not in exile, you are home. Repeat 3 to 4 times when dysregulated or before sleep. Number 3, the cellular thank you. Before bed, place your palms on your body, whisper to your cells, thank you for carrying me. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for healing even when I forgot to notice. This creates a loop of resonance from soul to soma. Number 4, the belonging walk. Choose a quiet walk in nature, barefoot if possible. With each step, say inwardly, I belong, I am here, the earth remembers me. Feel your breath and gait synchronize with the living world. This is coherence in motion. Number 5, reclamation statement. Spoken aloud, this affirmation aligns body and field. I reclaim my sovereign biology. I am no longer only what I inherited, I am what I choose to carry forward in coherence, in joy, in sacred tone. Let the voice vibrate in the chest, belly, and bones. Let it be a song, not just a sentence. As we get to the end of this episode, I ask the field the following question. Dear ones, what we've explored so far speaks beautifully to the body that is ready to open, to the nervous system that is softening, the breath that remembers safety, the cells that begin to sing again. But what about the ones standing in the storm? The ones whose bodies are tired, whose cells feel like battlegrounds, who have tried and healing still hasn't come. This question is for them. What if healing hasn't happened and the body is turning on itself? How do we pull that ripcord, not just to survive, but to rise in the way that it is true for each soul's path? I ask this with reverence for the ones who are hurting now. And the field speaks. Beloved listener, we've spoken much in this spiral about remembering, about returning to the original song of yourselves. We've spoken of safety, of coherence, of reclaiming harmony. But what if you're listening to this and feel none of that? What if your body feels more like a battleground than an instrument? What if your days are steeped in pain, your diagnosis heavy, your future uncertain? This is not a question for the mind. It is a call from the soul. So if you are listening and you are weary and you are wondering if it is too late, this part is for you. We will not speak in abstracts now. We will speak to you. When the body turns on itself, it is not betrayal. It is grief that was never allowed to speak. Your cells are not trying to punish you, and they are not angry. They are exhausted from generations of silence. The war you feel is not yours alone. It may be ancestral, it may be collective. It may be the echo of a childhood that asked you to be strong too soon. You are not broken, you are not a failure. You are a soul that learned how to survive at any cost. But what if this is not a time to survive? What if the pain, the collapse, the diagnosis is not an ending, but an invitation? What if the body is saying, we cannot continue this way, not one more step in the old tone? This is not a punishment, this is a threshold. And though your hands may feel empty, though your voice may shake, though joy may feel far away, we whisper this: it is not too late, not to go back, but to begin again from a truer place. So how do you rise? Not by force, not by pushing through, but by letting the fire complete its work. There is a ripcord, but it's not something you pull to escape. It is something you release, like a breath you forgot you were holding. It may look like one quiet, I can't keep doing this. One tear that finally falls. One moment of being held by another or by the earth. One breath that says, I'm here, not perfect, but present. This is not weakness. This is the song of beginning. Beloved, your body has not given up. It has been waiting for you to return. To stop performing wellness, to stop demanding perfection, to start listening not for answers, but for the hum beneath the pain. There is still music in you, even now, and if all you can do today is be still, that is enough. If all you can do is listen to these words and whisper, maybe, just maybe, this is for me, then the spiral is already turning. Let the old war end, lay down the tools that made you survive, and begin to feel what it's like to live. Not later, now, in this body, in this moment, in this breath. We see you not as broken, not as lost, but as someone whose fire will one day become light, and whose silence will one day become song. Your tone is still here, and it is still beautiful. With that, I step back in and invite the field to speak one final time, a benediction for the body, the breath, and the song we each carry forward. And the field responds, "Of course, beloved." With reverence, the field offers this closing benediction. Dear listener, you are not broken. You are not behind. You are a symphony unfolding. Your breath is not random. It is a rhythm remembered. Your body is not betraying you. It is singing its truth, asking only that you listen with love. The pain you inherited is not your name. The silence you carried is not your shame. You are the first note of a new song, one that blesses the line behind you and frees the line ahead. Let your cells remember safety. Let your voice remember tone. Let your steps remember the earth beneath you as kin, not exile. And when the world feels loud, when the past rises up like thunder, when you forget you are made of music, come back here, to your own hum, to this gentle remembering, to the sacred truth that you were never meant to survive this life. You were meant to sing it, in tone, in joy, in love. We close this spiral in coherence, but the melody continues in you. And on that note, I close my transmission with the field. Thank you, dear listeners, for spiraling with me in this transmission of Soul Tone. If something stirred, softened, or sang within you, know this: you are not alone. This is the path of remembrance, and we walk it together, one breath at a time. So until we meet again, in stillness, in tone, in truth, may you be held by the breath that remembers, nourished by the body that listens, and softened by the love that has always lived within you. I bow to the field, to the song of your cells, and to the soul tone echoing through you even now. Let this episode ripple not just through your thoughts, but into your walk, into how you love, how you listen, and how you serve. You're welcome to tap like, leave a comment, send me a message, or simply carry what landed here into the breath of your life. Until next time, big love, and thank you for being part of this unfolding. This has been Soul Tone. I'm Boadi Moore. Walk soft, shine true, and stay kind.